Hello, my dear friend, class 12. Now, today I am going to discuss about the three questions, part 3, written by Tolstoy. And this is the last part from where I've just started now. But before going to the today's lesson, I want to ask you some questions I have given already. And out of you, so many students have written me in my WhatsApp number. If you have anything problem, you just call me also. But I want to give you one suggestion. Please try to discuss the matter in English. Don't depend upon the Bengali. But few students have problems to understand me. But I hope so that you will overcome. And what I'm telling, it's very lucid language, very easy language. So I hope it will help all of you to understand my language. এবার থেকে কিন্তু আমি চেষ্টা করব only to speak in English with a lucid language. So before going to the lesson, now I am asking some questions to you. প্রথমে এই questions গুলো কিন্তু you just try to copy it, and finally you just try to give them answer at last of the lessons I will discuss all about. Why did the emperor want to receive the answer? What are the three questions? Why did the Tsar wear simple clothes when he went to the hermit? What made the hermit breathe heavily? Who was the wounded man? How was the wound of the stranger? So that's 6 questions you will do, and must do these word notes. If you are unable to complete these word notes properly with parts of speech, so I think the process of learning this language is not so easy. So my dear student, please follow the advice and copy it and try to write down the parts of speech just after these words. So before going to the study, you just try to remember these words, soaked, that put into the liquid, removed, put aside, crouched, bent down, threshold, doorstep. Intensely, that means actually keenly, shining, glowing, forgive, beg, pardon. And the today's lessons is very important words are enemy, rival, শত্রু যাকে বলো তোমরা, শোর, took oath, যেটাকে আমরা প্রতিজ্ঞা করি আর কি, রিভেঞ্জ, টু অ্যাভেঞ্জ অন, প্রতিশোধ নেওয়া, অ্যাম্বিউস, এই হিডেন অ্যাটাক, পেছন থেকে আক্রমণ করা যেটা। নেক্সট আসছে রিকগনাইজড, পরিচিতি, আইডেন্টিফাইড, টু নো, এসকেপড, গট ফ্রি, মুক্তি, স্বাধীনতা, পালিয়ে যাওয়া, বিড, কমেন্ট, নির্দেশ, গেন্ড, পাওয়া, যেটাকে আমরা বলি অ্যাচিভড, ফিজিশিয়ান, ডক্টর, পোর্চ মানে বারান্দা, or a portal part of a front part of or entry part of the house, looked around, that means খোঁজ করা, searched for, approached মানে came forward. So these are the unknown words. Actually, I think so many unknown words there have. When I'm studying, I'm giving the suggestions, or para by para, I hope you will know more knowledge. When at last the blood ceased flowing, it's now stopped. Ceased flowing, it stopped. The man revived and asked for something to drink. The man means the bearded man who came, an unknown person who actually entered into the hermit's cottage. On last day, I told you that what was the process that hermit and the Tsar actually executed to make the man revive, to make the man survive. So ultimately blood ceased flowing, stopped the bloody bleeding from the place, from the wound. The man revived, the man actually survived, the man actually now turned into normal, alive, and asked for the something to drink. He wants some, water to drink. The Tsar brought fresh water and gave it to him. Meanwhile, the sun had set and it had become cool. So the Tsar, with the hermit self, carried the wounded man into the hut and laid him on the bed. Lying on the bed, the man closed his eyes and was quiet. But the Tsar was so tired with his work and with the work he had done that he crouched down on the threshold, uh, and also fell asleep so soundly that he slept although the short summer night, when he awoke in the morning, it was long before he could remember where he was or who was the strange bearded man lying on the bed and gazing intently at with him with shining eyes. So this was the incident what happened after the blood stopped, after the blood actually stopped flowing or stopped bleeding. The man asked for water. Why? Because he felt some good, because he felt some easy. In that time, the Tsar brought fresh water. The Tsar had given him fresh water to drink. And what happened on the time the sun sets? It was now going to be evening. So whole day, the Tsar actually had done with it tiresome job. And this tiresome job actually make him so tired. So, he was really, exhausted. And he had no capacity to do anything. So, what he did, the cool and a very normal weather, the Tsar now, with the help of the hermits, took the wounded man into the hut and laid him on the bed. So the wounded man was lying on the bed. The man actually turned to sleep because he was also tired, he was affected, and that he crouched down on the threshold. That crouched down, a few minutes ago I told you, bent down. The crouched down, he was actually bent down on the threshold, means the position where the entry of the house, যেটাকে আমরা চৌকাট বলি, crouched down on the threshold means the entrance of the door, and also fall asleep, এবং তিনিও ঘুমিয়ে পড়লেন with making a sound. When we do the sound, because we are really tired. The heavy tiredness always breathing you high. এইখানটা দেখো একটু, that he slept all through the short summer night. That he slept all through the short summer night means no sound at all there in the whole night, was or because the man was really tired and the Tsar was also tired. So both were into the sleep. Who was the strange bearded man lying? But in the early morning there was happening a new scenario, a new things, new chapter. What was the chapter on the early morning? That the man who was actually saved by the Tsar, he gazed at him, he looked straight to him, intently, keenly at him with the shining eyes. This চকচকে চোখে, he was glazing eyes তার দিকে তাকিয়ে আছে, because he had done some mistake. What was the mistake now? Forgive me, said the bearded man in a weak voice when he saw that the Tsar was awake and was looking at him. Immediately after, the bearded man begged pardon to him as he had seen the Tsar was looking at him in the early morning. I do not know you and have nothing to forgive you for, said the Tsar. The Tsar answered very politely that he did not know him and he had nothing to forgive him for any matter. So in that way the conversation was going on, right? A dialogue between the unknown person or the bearded man and the Tsar. You do not know me, but I know you. I am that enemy of you, yours, who swore to revenge himself in you because he executed his brother and seized his property. Now the bearded man actually gave him the recognition, identification that he didn't know, but the bearded man knew the king very well, the Tsar very well. How? Now, few years ago, the Tsar gave a judgment against his brother, and that judgment was actually seized his property. In that manner, the bearded man actually wants to revenge. He wants to take the anguish on. Pratishod dite চায় সে তার ভাইয়ের বিচারের judgment was actually, he thought his judgment was wrong, and that's why he wanted the revenge against the enemy, against the king, against the Tsar. Means he thought the Tsar was his enemy. But what happened? I knew you had gone alone to see the hermit, and I resolved to kill you on your way back. But the day passed and you did not return. So I came out from my ambush to find you, and I came upon your bodyguard, and they recognized me and wounded me. I escaped from them, but should have bled to death, and you not dressed me wound. I wished to kill you, and you have saved my life. Now, if I live, and if you wish it, I will serve you as your most faithful slave, and will bid my sons to do the same. Forgive me. So that paragraphs will provide you that a man who was actually saved by a man, means the Tsar, who actually wants to get the revenge. Means that man actually followed the king, followed the Tsar from the time when he entered into the hermit's cottage alone. But few days passed away, he did not get a chance, he did not way out from the hermit's cottage, so he did not get any chance to kill him. On that situations, he actually came to the hidden place just for he came. Ambush means from the hidden attack. And on that time, what happened? The bodyguard who were actually watched him and recognized him, identified him, and finally wounded him. So he escaped away, got free from that place just now, and entered into the cottage. On the way, if you do not rest him properly, if you do not provide him all sorts of facilities there, might be he will die. So a man was saved him whom he actually wanted to kill. So in that circumstances, he wants a promise from the king, from the Tsar. What? That he will serve him most faithfully throughout his life. And his family also. He also informed the whole family, his son, to do that slavery, to do that for him, to export, to means use the life for the king's help. Forgive me, pardon me, আমাকে ক্ষমা করুন. So how the man actually confess his, how did the man confess his error, confess his wrong, or confess his uh, error in life, misdeeds in life? The Tsar was very glad to have made peace with the enemy easily and to have gained him for a friend. And he not only forgave him, but said he would send his servants and his own physician to attend him and promised to restore his property. The Tsar was really pleased. Be happy because he made a friendship with an enemy. It was the greatest job in this art. If you make friendship with your enemy, and it's an easy way, easy manner. After all, the Tsar noticed that he will not only forgive him, he would not only forgive, but also he will send some doctors, physicians to attend his wounds, to restore his life and restore his property properly. So what did the Tsar give to the bearded man in return? Having taken leave of the wounded man, the Tsar went out into the porch and looked around for the hermit. Before going away, he wished once more to beg an answer to the questions he had put. The hermit was outside on his knees, sowing seeds in the beds that had been dug the day before. Having taken leave, now the Tsar was actually wanted to left the hermit's cottage, and just he went towards the porch, just the veranda portions of the of the cottage. He looked around, and finally he desired that last time I want to ask the questions of three, and might be he would get the answer. So the hermit was outside, and on his knees, he was just going to the below to the knee, where he saw that the hermit was actually sowing the seeds which was actually dug on the last day. Hermit was doing his daily business. The Tsar approached him and said, "For the last time, I pray you to answer the questions, wise man. Please, my dear hermit, please give me the answer of three questions. At the last time I am asking you, otherwise I will left the cottage." "You have already been answered," said the hermit, still crouching on its thin legs and looking up the Tsar, who stood before. "How answered? What do you mean?" asked the Tsar. "That means the Tsar, the hermit actually answered that the three questions answered had already been given. But it was really puzzling to the Tsar that how it was happened. Is it possible? But he didn't understand. So in that circumstances, it's more puzzling situations come to the mind of the Tsar. Tsar did not know what was actually happened, how it was given the answer. "Do you not see?" replied the hermit. "If you had not pitied my weakness yesterday and had not dug those beds for me, but had gone your way, then man would have attacked you, and you would have repented of not having stayed with me. So the most important time was when you were digging the beds, and I was the most important man, and to do me good was your most important business." So the example was given. That last day when you entered to my house, my cottage, and you would not pitied me, if you would not kind-hearted to me, and you would not see my weakness and return, what will be happen? This man will kill you. This man will kill you, and he will be died. But what happened? You pitied on me, dug this bed, you waited there, and what happened? That times you are digging, that is your the most important job. And I am the person's the most important man. And you know the time when you have passed there, you are doing your business. That was the important time. So the answer was already given in a first time in last day. Now today, afterwards, when the man ran to ask, the most important time was when you were attending to him. Means the wounded man came to you without knowing the situations. You just attended him and stopped the blood flowing. For if you had not bound up his wounds, he would have died without having made peace with you. That means if you will not do that, what would be happen? The man will die, and you can't make peace with an enemy. So he was the most important man. And what you did for him was your most important business. Means you ceased the blood, you actually stopped the blood, repeatedly bandaged him, and put him into the bed and gave him proper drink, proper facilities to survive properly. That was your good business. Remember, then there is only one time that is important, now. So the present is the most important time, and it varies work to work, place to place, circumstances according to the places, according to the situations. So it is the most important time because it is only time when we have any power. When we have the power, we have the imaginations, we have the activity on that time. So now is the important time when you are active. And the most necessary man is with him whom you are on that time. The person whom with you are on that situations, he was the important persons. For no man knows whether he will ever having dealing with anyone else. And the most important affair is to do him with good, because for that purpose alone was man sent into the life. So my dear Tsar, nobody will know. The most necessary man is he with whom you are. For no man knows whether he will ever have a dealings with anyone else. So it was very tough to say who was important. According to the work, the important person's important time and activity will be changed. It depends upon the purpose and your applications, your imaginations, how you are applying yourself properly according to the job. So I think the answer of 3 questions is given already. It was quite clear. Second of the 2 questions was, how did the hermit make him understand that the answer of 3 questions had given already in 2 incidents? And the most important time is now. The person who are actually attaching with you now, that is the most important person, and the activity what you are doing on that time of now, it is important work. That's all. I hope you will realize my explanations. I am not today discussing any Bengali. If you have anything problems, you just try to write down the summary. My dear student, please follow me. I have learned like this way. I'm very Bengali medium student, and I know that Bengali medium students are very much determined to complete any job. So write down the summary of today's lesson and answer these questions what I have given today, and also made this word notes properly with the parts of speech right hand side. I think you will more confident, more strong. I hope you will learn it. Just tell me anything problems in my comment box or my WhatsApp number 790-868-7462. Thank you very much for watching this class.